where commercial operators went on strike because they felt like the trouble that are going through in the hands of agbiros was becoming way too much for them to handle. So that's, non-state actors are dictating what and who gets what. Well, we're going to be focusing on the state actors today because those are the ones that the constitution recognizes either ways to administer governance and provide quality leadership to the people of Nigeria. Welcome once again. We get to do this every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. My name is Opeyemi Akinyode, and of course Saheed Fuhad joins me every Wednesday. We get to do this together. The last two editions of the show, we've had Matthew Okudu join us. He's not here today. Hopefully by next week he will be able to join us so that we can get different opinion or different perspective to some of the things that we get to analyze. We've had issues of insecurity at the front burner. In the last 2-3 weeks, it's not like Southwest is relatively safe. It's unfortunate that in 2020 a king in Ekiti State was killed, abducted and killed. It kind of went a bit off the radar, but wow, now the governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Abiodun Oyèbánjí, is on the front burner of the conversation around domesticating police. I'm talking about domestication of a security outfit. The Zamfara state governor inaugurated the state police or state security outfit. We'll talk about some of that on the show today. We'll also look at the statement of the PDP presidential candidate in the last election, in the last two elections, 2019 and 2023, the former vice president Atiku Abubakar, saying that the president is playing fiddle while Nigeria is drowning in the ocean of insecurity. And as expected, the presidency has responded. We'll talk about that one as well. Well, the presidential, the presidency released a scorecard for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's performance in the month of January. I think it's something they want to do now every month going forward. We'll also go through all of that. So I say you're welcome once again. Saheed Fuhad, it's a new Wednesday with the same challenge, issue of insecurity. There's hunger at the level of poverty. In fact, the very respected lawyer SAN, Mr. Femi Falana, has sued the federal government on the issue of the number of out of school children that we have in this country. And yet again, the Senate has summoned the service chiefs over the issue of insecurity. I said it last week that we need to go beyond posting pictures of the president meeting the service chiefs. We need to go beyond reading the stories that the Senate has summoned the service chief. In fact, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas, had asked the president to take tough decisions. And one of those decisions says that the president should not be scared of reshuffling his cabinet, which obviously they're not coming to terms with the reality that we have on ground. Good to have you today. It's another Wednesday.
Well, Opeyemi Akinyode, it's not a beautiful day to be on the show, I must tell you, because I woke up this morning with so much emotions in my mind, and I'll tell you why. The usual thing we do, we wake up very early, try to keep up with developments in the country, try to cover across the papers is on the statistics and data that is being used to collate the numbers. But no matter what you think, really, Opeyemi, the numbers are not looking good. We are even countries in a war situation. Sometimes they struggle to get the kind of numbers we're getting. We have situation in the country where even small pupils, primary school pupils, secondary school students are now in the den of kidnappers. Opeyemi. I was telling Saheed yesterday that look, I grew up in a Lagos where you can virtually walk all through the night. Boxing matches were held at night, late night. Parties were held at night. States like Ekiti, years past, you hardly hear of anything called kidnapping. Maybe one or two insecurity issues here and there, but to now get to the point where school bus of pupils were returning from school, taking them to their homes, and then they were stopped and pupils were abducted, teachers were abducted. Opeyemi, I've just been thinking about it. I've been asking myself, how did we get to this position? How did we get here? What's going on with the country? And to look at all of the things you said, you and I were just watching the Zamfara state governor, Governor Dauda Lawal inaugurating the Zamfara State Security Network or group and all of that. Again, the conversation around state policing, is something we have to consider. Ekiti State is not looking good. Governor Oyebanji is a troubled man. I've consistently been talking, and I think one of the other things that I've also caught my attention was what happened at the House of Reps yesterday at the resume of plenary, where the honorable, which incidentally is the spokesperson for the House of Reps, broke down in tears.
He spoke with his emotions yesterday.
Yeah, he had to, because again, this is now very close. I'm sure it's now closer to him than the report he's been getting. He stays, as the honorable is from, he stays there in Abuja, does his thing, but that's his home state. He even said one of the monarchs is right from his hometown. So I think something needs to be done. And the sad part of the whole story, in the middle of this chaos, the CEC, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is missing. Whether anybody likes it or not, he has gone for a private visit. The reality is that he's not on ground. And today I was almost having an argument with one of our callers in the morning show that, look, Opeyemi in leadership, there's what is called perception management. In leadership. It's just like, for example, there's a problem within an immediate family, and your father is available, your mother is available. Whether you like it or not, there's that comfort that comes out.
Yes,
you are calm. Okay, my dad is here. Even if he's not going to do anything immediately, but the fact that there's somebody to show solidarity, to continue to urge you that things will be fine. I'm saying it, whether we like it or not, if it's a medical emergency, it's understandable. Okay, nobody can stop anybody from attending to their health when there's a medical emergency. If the president had told us that, look, I'm going to Paris, France on medical checks, medical checkup, maybe there's a regular medical checkup I'm supposed to attend, fine, we can understand that. But for the presidency to tell Nigerians that the president is in Paris on private visit when the house is burning, and Fᴏʟᴏᴡ said it's even an embarrassment to Nigeria, because there's hardly any president that goes into another country without official recognition, even if it's a private visit. There's a way. One of the callers also asked me a question this morning. Have I seen a president from any other part of the country, other part of the world?
Private visit here.
Yeah. Have I heard of anything like that?
What are they
before?
coming to do?
Without the states knowing, without them receiving them officially and all of that. But again,
even the ones that they would receive officially.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw the US president or the UK
just
prime
go somewhere and say it's a private visit?
Just say they're leaving their country to go on private visit.
Private visit. So again, that's not the main conversation. But what we're saying is that, look, we are in a bad place. The figures are not looking nice. The report is not looking good at all. Now, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the speaker, is calling for a security summit, a legislative security summit. The Senate, I'm sure they are also troubled. They resumed, and one of the first things they are doing is to summon the security chiefs. I think the center is not holding. There's something wrong somewhere. Okay, governors are making different comments. Politicians are jumping into it. Atiku Abubakar, as an opposition leader, is also making statements. The presidency is responding. In the middle of that political chaos, Nigerians can't sleep with their two eyes closed in their houses. They can't even travel across the length and breadth of the country without the fears of kidnap. Just last week, the chairman of the PDP in Lagos State with some of the party members were abducted on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ogere. It took about 4 or 5 days for them to be released, and the information we got was that they paid ransom.
They were released. They were not rescued.
They were released.
The release comes with ransom.
So nobody is safe. Nowhere is safe in the country. And if we're saying the primary job of any government is the provision of is the security of lives and property of the people, I'm afraid there's a lot that we need to cover about the capacity of the people in government now to secure the lives and properties of Nigeria. The other one we also talked about, Opeyemi, is time. Have we gotten to the point where the president has to look at the people he has appointed? For example, the service chiefs. We've said it. It's not just to change personnel. It's not just to pump money into security in the country. Are there clear timelines as to, okay, these are the deliverables? The service chiefs, this is what I expect you to achieve. This is the numbers I'm working with. These are the clear timelines I'm working with. If you don't do this for me, you're out. Do we have that kind of mandate? Do we have kind of directive for the security chiefs? Because again, there's nothing the Senate would ask the security chiefs that the president, I'm sure, should not be getting on a daily basis, because there's a security briefing that should get to his desk on a daily basis. So the reality is that we can't, because again the Senate is saying that look, after meeting with the service chiefs, whatever we come up with, we'll discuss it with the president. I'm like, the president should even know more than you guys, because he gets the daily briefings on security in the country. The question is, what is he doing with it? What is he doing differently? What does he want to do differently? Now we have states, everybody's scrambling. Yebandi is talking about Amotekun, talking about OPC, forest rangers. Zamfara is also looking at his own arrangement. The East is looking at its own arrangement. I'm saying, why can't we just agree to formalize this arrangement and have state police?
Talking about formalization, I think it's getting clearer every day now. And when people talk about the fact that security is everybody's business, I always kind of disagree once in a while, because I feel a lot of people are being paid in millions to provide security. People are sitting in political offices on the auspices of being a minister of state for defense, minister of defense. Governors are getting security votes that can be probed in their millions. We're also having, the service chiefs riding on horses.
We have two ministers of defense.
We have a minister, and even the other one that failed to protect the state of Zamfara, is now being rewarded for party loyalty as the minister of state for defense. I'm wondering, if I cannot keep my family safe, if I cannot provide quality leadership for my family, then I'm trying to understand how do I want to protect the country. The family is supposed to be the smaller unit of the society, and if I cannot be responsible within that space, then how will I be trusted with? When I saw a report that Bello Matawali went to visit Plateau State after the unfortunate December 25th massacre, one of the things that came to my mind is, what do you want to go and tell them? What do you want to go and tell His Excellency Governor Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State? Don't worry, I will empathize with you.
What's Matawali record in Zamfara?
You were governor of Zamfara for 4 years. Bandits were collecting tax from farmers in your state,
and even Toband. Bandits were being
Toband, and they were publicly, they were owning to the fact that yes, we are bandits. People were living like kings. People were creating caliphate, officially hosting flags, and then you are the governor. And because you failed that election, the presidency felt, well, don't worry, don't worry, come around, let's see what we can fix you. And then they did not see special duties to fix you. They said to give you or Greek, or even go and do intergovernmental affairs. They gave you Minister of State for Defense. Well, we'll talk about that. I think the issue of the cabinet reshuffle will form a crux of the conversation on the show today. But so much talk about. I would play you an insert, and the voice you get here is the voice of Honorable Akinyode Rotimi, representing Ekiti State Federal Constituency 1, and he's the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, representing Ikole and Ijero. And one of the kings, by the way, the Elesun of Esun Ekiti, Oba David Babatunde Ogunsakin, and the Oni Mojo of Imojo Ekiti, Oba Olatunde Samuel Olushola, both of them were killed. The king of Ara is just 2 communities away from Ikole Ekiti, where my mom comes from. He was lucky enough to escape. And then one of the monarchs was also taken. I'm sure they will start negotiating. And this is the fear of it. He's coming home. Before this, the killing of these monarchs happened last week, the neighbor town between Ondo and Ekiti is Ikere, and there was an abduction in Ikere where videos were posted, confirmed videos. Pupils were abducted along that axis. So when we talk about the insecurity challenge, and then we think that a part of the country is relatively peaceful, it's coming home. When the people in a place that is very hostile and uncomfortable, they find a way to come into spaces that they can expand and settle and regroup, and that's exactly why we're having these issues in the Southwest. The Southwest is porous because you can literally move from Osun to Ondo, you will not even know. The moment you pass the Wena Bridge, you're already inside Ekiti. The moment you pass Gbongon, you're already inside Osun. The moment you pass Ogiri, you're already inside Ogun. The moment you pass Bega or whatever, you're already in Lagos. So nobody checks who is coming in, nobody checks who is going out, and that's exactly why we are under. It's not like issues are not happening in Lagos as much as we think Lagos is safe. Well, I'm going to play you the voice of Honorable Akinyode Rotimi, the House of Reps member representing Ekiti Federal Constituency 1, and also the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. It was absolutely devastated and emotional on the floor of the House yesterday. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Midweek Politics. Take a listen, and then we'll be right back.
First of all, let me introduce myself. Mr. Speaker, my name is Akinyode Jr. and I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 federal constituency comprising Ikole and Oye local governments. Mr. Speaker, it's my pleasure to present this motion of urgent national importance on the criminality currently ravaging Ekiti State. The House notes that there has been an increase in criminal activities in Ekiti North 1 federal constituency in recent times, resulting in the loss of lives and property. The House also notes that the constituency is exposed to peculiar security challenges due to the nature of our forest and topography, and more painfully because Ekiti federal roads are some of the most dilapidated in the entire country. Further notes that on Monday, January 29, 2024, these criminals carried out a dastardly attack in the Okiako area in Ikole local government area, resulting in the death of 2 traditional rulers, the Onimojo of Imojo Ekiti, Oba Dr. Olatunji Samuel Olusola, and the Aleso of Esu Ekiti, Oba David Babatunde Ogushaki, and leaving a host of others with life-threatening injuries. Shocked that this is not an isolated event, as in the past few days alone, a commercial driver was killed between Ayedo and Ayebode by armed bandits. And just yesterday, a school bus load of students were abducted in Emure, Ekiti, and their whereabouts is still unknown till now. Aware that the late Onimojo was an intellectual and highly intelligent historian, an orator who always spoke truth to power. Also aware that the late Alesu was a peace-loving king who was very hands-on in the development of Ayedu communities. Further aware that because of the topography of the area and the bad roads, there has been an incursion of murderous elements who parade themselves as headsmen, leading to heightened insecurity. The House recognizes that the entire people of Imojo in Oye local government and Esu in the Ikole local government and the entire state have been thrown into mourning on account of the loss of our highly revered traditional rulers who were forces for community development, peace and stability in the constituency and the entire state. Cognizant that the Nigerian army has a military outpost on that road, which has been non-functional as the only patrol on Tuesdays, leaving the communities exposed for the rest of the days. And the House resolves to observe a minute's silence in honor of the memory of the dearly departed monarchs. The House further urges the Chief of Army Staff to redeploy military personnel to the outpost along the Okiako area to enhance security and forestall a repeat of such acts. The House also directs the Inspector General of Police, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and other security agencies to deploy more men to Ekiti North 1 and ensure that those who carried out those acts are fished out and brought to justice. The House also urges the security agencies to put all measures in place to rescue the school children and teachers who were abducted in Emure Ekiti. The House also compels the Ministry of Works and FEMA to immediately rehabilitate the Ayedu to Irele Road and other roads in the federal constituency. The House also mandates the House Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance and report back to the House. To it. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Wake it up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Here is easy to bring normalcy and redecorate. It's more difficult.
General elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to
Join
their own
Opeyemi, Akinyode, and Saheed Fuhad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Okay, welcome back. That was the voice of Honorable Akinyode Rotimi, a member representing Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency, comprising of Oye local government and Ikole local government area of Ekiti State. Being emotional on the floor of the House yesterday while reading the motion seeking for urgent attention in terms of rehabilitation of the federal roads within some of those communities, and as a matter of urgencies other raised, and it was quite emotional about it. Yesterday also the right honorable speaker, Honorable Abbas, also had asked Mr. President to not be scared of taking tough decisions. And out of those tough decisions, he made mention of, look at your cabinet, look at how long it took for us to come up with these people, screened at the controversy around them. Saheed Fuhad and I were having this conversation before we came on air earlier in the day, and I was like, look at the cabinet, look at the performance scorecard of some of these ministers. I mean, some of them had actually gone missing in action the moment they got inaugurated, almost like they were just looking for that space. Probably some of them had even gone into their private businesses. I was asking, where's the minister of blue economy and marine economy, the immediate past governor of Osun State? I mean, even the ministry that's supposed to be, one of the things that will cater for immediate needs of Nigerian humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation, the minister is suspended. The former minister is having the visit to EFCC. The current minister is also having issue with EFCC. You also look at them. Information management had been at a serious comatose. I cannot remember the last time the Ministry of Information posted, once there's any issue, it is the presidency that responds. You don't get to see the Minister of Information.
It's so bad that I struggle to remember the name of the Minister of Information.
Exactly.
It's that bad. Because again, you have the presidency responding to issues and addressing the nation. So there's an information gap.
There is a huge information gap.
So you need to ask yourself, how competent is the Minister of Information?
I mean, look at the issue we discussed last week on the show side for the relocation of some department within the CBN. The message that is being spread around
the misinformation,
is like CBN is being relocated to Lagos. I spoke to a couple of because after last week Tuesday, a couple of people requested for the offer of the show, and one of my friends was like, a journalist in the north was like, so it's actually a part of the CBN. Five departments within the CBN is relocating to Lagos. So the message that is being spread over there, which is even easy for the people to embrace, that the ACF felt like this and that, is because there's a huge information gap. So people pick information, throw it the way they want, doctor it, tailor it, touch it the way that suits the narrative, and then they put it out there, and then people just swallow it because the right people that are supposed to give out this information are not doing their jobs. The presidency is not the Ministry of Information.
Unfortunately, if you look at information management, the guys in the presidency, people like Bayo Nonuga, that have been responding to issues, are very combative. I told you they go in to defend and inform.
Because because that's their job.
They are just
supposed to defend the president. The Ministry of Information is supposed to inform
now,
the people.
and control the narrative. Really, so you now have a situation where people see these guys are just megalomaniacs of government because they are not really informing. You are going to talk about what Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said.
Yes, I'm going to read. I'm going to read that.
And what Bayo Onanuga said. You now understand what I mean by that.
Let's start from here. This is from the official X, that's formerly Twitter handle of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and it says, Tinubu is playing fiddle while Nigeria is drowning in the ocean of insecurity. To imagine that the commander-in-chief is on a so-called private visit while the kidnappers kill a nursing mother and grandmother in Abuja for failing to pay 90 million naira ransom. 2 monarchs in Ekiti, amongst other regular tragedies besetting Nigeria at the moment. If the shoes are too big for Emilokan, he should step aside. Nigeria does not need another tourist in chief. That's the key word. The country needs 247 leadership to confront the pervasive insecurity and collapsing economy. Signed, AA Atiku Abubakar. That was the position of the that's the position of Atiku Abubakar himself. Now, the spokesperson of the presidency has responded. Official X handle of Mr. Bayo Onanuga, and it says response to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Now you get where the missing link is here. It says Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's statement accusing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of fiddling amidst some security and economic challenges is, easy to say the least, reckless. That is defense. That's their job, side forward. Coming days after he made an equal reckless allegation against the president on the crude loan for deals for NNPC Limited, his latest statement falls short of what is expected from an elder statesman. Monarchs have been killed. What has elder statement got to do with the challenges that we are facing? We like to believe that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is still nursing hangover of his electoral defeat and now lashes on any issue to attack President Tinubu. President Tinubu did not travel without informing Nigerians of his whereabouts. He announced a private visit to France and announced a return date. While in France, President Tinubu has been following development at home and is on top of the situation in the country. Today's inauguration of the tripartite committee on the national minimum wage bill is impremature. He is in constant touch with his officials and security chiefs and has directed them to stamp out every form of criminality in the country. He has particularly ordered them to apprehend those criminals responsible for the murder of 2 monarchs in Ekiti State and the kidnapping of some pupils in the state. We're already seeing results with the arrest of over 139 kidnappers around Abuja, Kaduna, and Benue State in the last 1 week. The Police Special Intervention Squad and the DSS have also rescued 154 abducted persons in the last few days. Just last week, the president approved 50 billion as special funds to address some of the lingering security challenges in the northeast, where Alhaji Atiku Abubakar hails from. To cope with the kidnapping challenges in the FCT, the president also approved funds for the acquisition of equipment to track down criminals. If Atiku is really concerned about the security issues and not playing cheap politics, he should have known that the president is on top of the issues and working hard to restore peace to every part of this country. The last paragraph. Our security agencies are working very hard to bring the security situation under control. The president is giving them all of the necessary support they need to win the battle against criminal elements and secure every inch of our country. Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, signed 30th of January 2024. The last time I checked, today is the 31st of January. So this was yesterday. Side forward. In the last 1 month, okay, let me say in the last 2 months, from Zamfara to Benue to Kaduna, in fact, day before yesterday, 11 farmers were killed in Benue. 4 days ago, students got into IEDs laced down by militants, by terrorists rather, in Borno State, and people were killed. In Ekiti State, it's happened. In Ondo State, it's not safe. So if you think it's an issue of the northeast or the northwest or the middle belt or the whatever you think it is, nobody's even talking about the carnage that is going on in the southeast right now. It's a mess of a situation right now. A complete mess of a situation. How did you feel when you read the response of Bayo Onanuga? I mean, we understand that there's a misplaced position here. there's a difference between the office of the presidency and the Ministry of Information. What did you feel when the second paragraph of Bayo Onanuga's response talked about the fact that Atiku Abubakar is still not healed from his political defeat? Should this be a political conversation, Saheed Fuhad?
You know what, Opeyemi, again, you remember that when the whole conversation around the Kadiriya family and the Ariyo family in Abuja started, and there was this outrage, there was this outrage on social media, the crowdfunding thing about insecurity in Abuja. The same insensitive statement we got from the minister of the FCT, who had said that, look, it was just people raising unnecessary dust. The situation was not as bad. It was more of political propaganda and all of that. I said it on the show. It was completely insensitive. Now, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, former president of the country, the immediate, presidential candidate of the PDP in the last election, has a right, first as a Nigerian, Opeyemi, and then also an elder statesman, to speak truth to power. And the fact that he's a major opposition leader in the country at this time, this is what is expected to do as an opposition leader, to speak truth to power and point out the things the government are not doing properly and also profile solution. His choice of words, key issues he raised in his tweet yesterday, Opeyemi. First, we are drowning in the ocean of insecurity. Can anybody fault that statement?
Except Bayo Onanuga.
I'm coming to Bayo Onanuga, but can you? The reality is that we are drowning in an ocean of insecurity. If in Ekiti, two monarchs, look, I don't even know the mood in Ekiti now. I'm trying to gauge what the mood would be in those two communities, because you should know what it means for a traditional leader to be killed in that manner. That's why the spokesperson had to break down in tears. I could understand what was going on in his head. Look, I've listened to Governor Oyebanji. The man is completely confused. You could even see, Governor Oyebanji is such a very calm person.
He's a calm person.
He doesn't really, there's a way he carries himself. He's always very calm. I understand that, well, Ekiti is not really one of those states where you have too much pressure.
So this is in
the last 2-3 days, just look at Governor Oyebanji's face, you understand what the man is going through. He's completely confused. So if Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is saying we are drowning in the ocean of insecurity, it's spot on by the current reality of the country. Now it goes forward to say that, look, as it is, the country needs a president that will be hands-on, that will be available 24/7. Opeyemi, and he actually concluded by saying that, look, we need a president that will be 24/7 available because of the insecurity, pervasive insecurity and collapsing economy. Opeyemi, while we are dealing with serious security concerns across the country, the dollar, Opeyemi, in the parallel market has crossed the 1,500 naira mark. What economic crisis again can be bigger than that? And the official window were already trading at over 1,400, Opeyemi. And so if Alhaji Atiku, and it's a very short tweet. I like when statements are made like this, very punchy, straight to the point. Apart from the fact that you have to garnish it with a milocon and all of those kind of things, but you can't miss the key thing from what Alhaji Atiku Abubakar tweeted yesterday. Now look at Bayo Onanuga's response. That's why I said that, look, they be very combative, they be very defensive, and a lot of times when they get too combative, the trust of the information, the substance of the information is completely missing. And he started by saying that, it was a reckless statement. How is this a reckless statement? Okay, what is the recklessness in pointing out the reality of Nigeria at this time, even if you think it's coming from an opposition leader? Then he goes to say that he falls short of what is expected from an elder statesman. So an elder statesman should lie to you, should not tell you the truth. Because again, we've seen a lot of elder statesmen who have now been beaten around the bush, who are not easily able to speak the truth. I'm not going to talk about, for example, in recent time, I was reading an article of the former governor of Osun, Chief Bisi Akande, when he was talking about the fact that he's not he's still nursing election defeat. What is the election defeat in Opeyemi? Whether we like it or not, the Supreme Court has given a judgment. I'm sure Alhaji Atiku Abubakar knows that, look, he can only become president again if he decides to run only in 2027. He cannot be president again until is there any way, no matter what he does? So I'm sure he has accepted his fate, he has moved on with it. He's now in the opposition, he's an opposition leader, he's playing his opposition politics. I would have thought that, look, Bayo Onanuga first acknowledges that, look, yes, what you have said is right. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, we appreciate the fact that as an elder statesman and as a former leader of the country, you are also speaking truth to power and also putting your voice to the reality of Nigerians. However, this is what we are doing. But for you to start your statement by first attacking and then look, people will read the first 2-3 paragraphs and just feel that and they just throw it away. And I'm surprised that people like Mr. Bayonuga are making this kind of mistakes, because these are journalists that we grew up knowing. But again, people have said that, look, the fact that you are a journalist of repute does not necessarily mean you are going to be a good information manager. And that's where the conversation around the Ministry of Information has come in now. I say I struggle to remember the name of the minister. The Ministry of Information is now supposed to be the one to bridge the gap. Conversation started. Nobody was bridging the gap. And here we are, this confusion is here. So, you see, Opeyemi, I think, when you are
understand, this is the
palace. Issued a statement, said what you are going there to do.
Exactly.
Oh, there was process enlargement. That's your and people say
when Ajuri in Galilee released the statement that the president was going to be here and he will be back on the first week of February, the reason for the private visit was not given. Now, the president going into France has not even been acknowledged by the French government that is in France.
Yes.
Whether it's a private visit or not, the president of the most populous black nation in the world is in your country. In fact, it's something you should be proud of and say, oh, we are hosting the president of the largest economy in Africa in our country, even though it's a private visit. It's not on a working visit.
Look, Opeyemi, what is wrong in us getting a daily update of the activity of the president in France?
What is private about the public of his own?
So
what is private about the number one citizen in the country?
This is what the president is doing. He has met with this, he has done this. What's the big deal about that? And if it's on medical checkup, maybe there's a routine medical checkup. Just let us understand. That's why I said that. Look,
the concern does not forbid Mr. President from traveling out for medical treatment.
Why not? Look, that's why I said, look at the difference. The people must know what is happening to their king. Lest there will be too much speculation. And so what they did was to say, look, he's been discharged from the hospital, he's been there for 3 days, and he had gone there for, and so that's the problem we're saying now. Private visit that people are questioning why he's not in the country at this time. Because again, we need to know why is visiting France at this time is more important than him being in Nigeria to be on top of the situation.
Because I've always said it. You can attract the finest of investors from anywhere in the world. You can bring in the biggest deals, getting the mega deals, getting countries to come and invest in your countries, getting big. If you don't provide security, I would not open my eyes as an investor and bring my hard-earned money side forward to bring it into your country because I want to come and please you. It's as simple as that. And each time I get to see, at one or two occasions, I've actually seen Alhaji Muhammad Idris, the Minister of Information and National Orientation.
Thank you for bringing up his name.
He looks so uninterested. It makes it look like if
he looks lost completely.
It makes it look like the information he's giving you is a privilege. No, you are a spokesperson of the government. We have every right to ask you morning, afternoon, night, and you must not come out and say, let us aggregate opinion. You cannot come and aggregate opinion as a minister. You're supposed to be factual in your opinion. You're supposed to be very definite in your position. You're supposed to be very exact in your
and intentional too. We must see that. Look, you are intentional about what you're doing.
About informing the people. So when there's misinformation, you create that lacuna, and people would always find things to fill up those spaces. Well, I just maybe we should move away from this a little bit. I just feel at this point our priorities need to be straight. And now that the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, had come out to say that it's high time for us to officially recognize the establishment of state police, is clear. Governor of Ekiti State, His Excellency Governor Abiodun Ibanji, is also talking of strengthening Amotekun and also recognizing the Odua People's Congress and then of course the Forest Rangers. And these, maybe now people would understand that late Rotimi Akeredolu was not a saint. He also didn't cover himself in glory. But when it comes to strengthening the security structure of the Southwest, the last 1 year had gotten really worse. And this had been the last 1 year that Rotimi Akeredolu had not been able to function as a governor of the state. So you can literally
understand why
the relationship between his presence, his absence, and the total collapse within the Southwest. I mean, you can't take that. You can accuse him of not paying salaries.
No, but not on his passion for security in the Southwest.
He's done well. And the space that is being away, the lacuna is there for everyone to see. Hopefully we'll come back to it now, because even Governor Dauda Lawal today set up the old Zamfara State community policing structure. At the end of the day, side forward, states are putting up their own security structure because the security of your state rests on your laps as a governor. Whether you like it or not, the president can come back tomorrow and go on another private visit. The concern does not prevent him from doing so. He can come back from a private visit and go on another working visit. He can come back from that working visit and go on another medical rest or vacation. The concern does not stop him from doing all of those. So the responsibility of protecting your state as a governor that gets the unconstitutional security vote. A lot of people don't even know that security vote is not constitutional. It's just the child brain of some people that want to say, oh yeah, all local government, oh yeah, a quota will be deducted for you to provide general security. Meanwhile, residents of this local government are their own security, there's their own local government chairman. You provide the security side for us.
CDAs,
you pay your gate man for security. In my estate, we pay 6,000 naira almost every month for security, for protection. And almost on weekend basis, we hear that they stolen generator. They've removed a security light. So what are they protecting? You provide your own electricity. You contribute money to buy transformer. You hand the transformer over to NEPA, the one you saved your money to buy.
And when there's a fault, you still have to find a way to replace.
If you pay them to buy everything that they used to come and install that transformer. It's just in a messed up place that we find ourselves as a nation. You look around the economy. You're talking about the naira to a dollar. Naira is not only struggling to the dollar. The Kwanza is the official currency of Angola. The Kwanza is trading at almost 1 Kwanza to 1 naira
at this time.
That's crazy. I mean, I didn't stay in Safer. I'm not talking of Safer. I'm not talking of. I decided to go to far Angola
and check really.
And how did I get that? There's a promise for the Angolans that if they beat the Super Eagles on Friday, they'll give each of the players 5 million Kwanza.
Which
so I want to find out that 5 million Kwanza.
What does it translate to for Nigeria?
5 million Kwanza side rate is almost 5 million naira.
You know that Angola,
because the Kwanza is trading at 0.94.
You know what is helping Angola? Again, Angola is the second largest oil producing nation in sub-Saharan Africa. And over the last 2 years, Angola has been able to reorganize itself, especially the oil sector. And so what they've first been able to do, Opeyemi, is to pay off all their debts, aggregating serious money from the sale of crude.
Especially with the war going on between Ukraine and
all
Russia.
of that. So they've been able to tap seriously into that. Angola is also a country that has functional refineries, Opeyemi. So they are not held down by spending monies on importation of PMS into Angola. So they are able to export their crude, make good monies, and also refine locally for local consumption when it comes to PMS. So they are not held down by forex crisis.
That's why they're pushing to pull out of OPEC.
So they've done that. They have. We want to leave. Yes. We don't want to be held down by restrictions and all of the conversations around OPEC. We just want to do our thing, and nobody's going to stop them. Now, what we're saying is that what they've been able to do is to solve a lot of their Chinese debts, because they had a lot of Chinese debts hanging on their neck. They've been able to solve that, and they've now been able to defend their currency with all of serious forex earnings from crude. And now, even against the dollar, their currency is firming up.
Yes,
against the dollar. So I'm not surprised that they've been able to match our own currency. And who knows? Maybe in the next few months, it's going to be higher than what we have. And what have they been able to use, Opeyemi, to do that? This crude we have. As we speak, Opeyemi, we've not been able to meet our OPEC quota. Dangote just announced about some 2 or 3 days ago. There's a report that
buying crude.
It's going to be importing crude from the US. So local supply of crude to that refinery, a mirage. We are talking about Port Harcourt refinery working or not working as we speak.
We know very well that it's not.
We've moved the conversation now.
We've moved.
The conversation has now moved from the refinery working now to private investors coming to take it over. The 3 other refineries, nobody's saying anything about it again. So, look, Opeyemi, I was asking Sandra this morning that, look, there was supposed to be a student loan, right? And the promise was that it was going to start in January. Today is January 31st.
Today is not over yet.
Okay, maybe we'll get there.
Today is not over.
So on a more serious note, Opeyemi, you can't argue Alhaji Atiku Abubakar position. You can't even beat this. This is spot on. This is the fact. And that's
the old soft shades of Bayo Onanuga saying that the president approved 50 billion for security in the northwest where the Atiku Abubakar comes from. It is the responsibility of the president to protect every single space, governed or ungoverned, in the country. The constitution may have its own fault, but the responsibility of the president and the governors and the big are clearly spelled.
And on the governors, you talked about Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ M𝗆ɪᴛ, may God bless his soul. That's one man that stood for something, and you must, no matter what you say about him, when it comes to the issue of security in the Southwest, he stood his ground. He was very clear about what he wanted. I think several times he was head to head
with the presidency.
When Owo happened, I knew how he was telling them what they needed to hear when the Owo massacre happened. And like you said, in the last 1 year that he's been incapacitated, there's that lacuna. And that's why some of us are saying that, look, the governors in the Southwest need to wake up. I think the only state that took Amotekun serious
was Oyo State.
And to a great extent, if you look at Oyo State, they have been better,
relatively safe,
compared to other states. I'm sure states like Ekiti slept off as if now look at what has happened to them. You can now see the governor running helter-skelter, talking about Amotekun and all of that. I don't think Ogun State is even interested. Our darling governor of Ogun State, I don't think the man is interested in anything. And that's why even in Ogun State, the rate of crime in Ogun State, Opeyemi, is unbelievable. Lagos, I don't know whether there's any kind of Amotekun in Lagos, but I think with the RRS and all of that. But I think we need to do more. But because again, the outskirt locations of Lagos too are becoming, a bit dangerous for people. I'm talking about areas like Badagry, Epe, Ikorodu, the outskirt locations of Lagos. So all in all, Opeyemi, Zamfara has just done his own. What is supposed to be like a state policing arrangement. Benue has done its own. Plateau is already looking at its own.
They've done it. The governor had commissioned the operation.
Now, what we are saying is this. We had this conversation before the show. There will still be some limitations to how they can effectively function, and that's the kind of weapons they are permitted to carry. Amotekun was in Ondo State when the Owo massacre happened, and Akinyode said something I will never forget. He said, "Look, these guys came into Owo because they know there's no balance of power." Yes. He said it. He said that, look, if these guys had known that, look, as we are going to Owo,
the people who are going to meet there
will have the same energy, the same balance of power. They will not dare do this nonsense they've done. And that was why he was insisting that, look, it is now time.
Weaponize Amotekun.
So you can't carry AK-47. But look, you said, look, we can't carry AK-47. But the bandits
are moving around AK-47.
So I now say that, look, instead of us having that back and forth, can we just agree that at this stage now, we need to restructure the policing structure of the country? This is the time for us to have proper state policing system in the country where security, when it comes to internal security, is domesticated at the state level. Not just at the state level. There's no reason why we can't have county police, what you call local government police, and even city police. Why can't Anthony Village have a security arrangement to take care of our... Look, whether we like it or not, we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. The only argument against state police is that, look, the politicians will misuse it. And the question we have always asked is that, look, this current policing structure,
is it not still being abused?
Is it not still being abused? So what we need to do is to agree that the structure we have now is not working. How many policemen do we have? Half of what we have that is not enough are guiding VIPs. They are not even well equipped. The remuneration is poor. You understand what I'm saying? Just some 2 days ago, we got a report that they have not even been able to pay subscription for tracking device. So they are sharing that of the DSS. Okay, so is that what we're going to continue with? And that's why Afenifere, even Nadeco, leaders of thought in the country have continued to tell the president that, look, Mr. President, you were a major advocate of true federalism and restructuring of the country when you were in the trenches, and even when you became governor. Now that you are president, can you start a legislative framework to begin to push the agenda for proper restructuring of the country? And part of it is supposed to be state policing. All we can do is to look at how to ensure that it's not subject to too much of abuse. There are ways you can create checks and balances to the point where, the policing structure at the state level is not completely abused by a politician. I agree that a lot of our politicians are so indisciplined, and if you allow them to control things like that, it is subject to serious abuse. But we can always look at legal frameworks to ensure that we check all of that.
Sorry, Fuhad, we'll take a very quick break by 1 o'clock.
Okay.
By 2 o'clock. But if people continue to argue with the conversation around the state policing being hijacked by the politicians, is the fear of the unknown is it better for us to deal with than the reality on ground? you continue to say that it will be hijacked, but the people of the state keep getting killed on daily basis. They have been kidnapped and be hijacked, been abducted. Pupils. Imagine what a 4 or 5 year old girl will see in the bushes where even adults cannot survive. Imagine what those kids would have to
their school bus was shot at.
Yes.
And then they were brought down from the school bus. They were
moved into another one. And we don't even know, maybe they had bullet wounds on them.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a 10-year-old son. I have a 5-year-old daughter. And I keep imagining from morning till now that, look, what would my daughter, if God forbid, if she finds herself in that situation, the trauma, what would she be thinking? A pupil with beasts with guns shooting at them, then whisking them away in that. Look, Opeyemi, the country has continued to fail people, but I feel sad
that has even failed kids that don't even have an idea of what is going on.
And you know the way kidnapping can go wrong very fast, Opeyemi.
It can.
We saw it with the Kaduna family. Their first daughter was killed by kidnappers
because the negotiation was reportedly delayed.
We saw it with the Ariyo family. The 13-year-old first daughter of the Ariyo family was also killed. Nothing must happen to these pupils, Opeyemi.
I really wish what you just said now could, ring and echo in the minds of the people that we've handled or we've saddled responsibility of protecting this country. Now, the Zamfara State Community Protection Guard was inaugurated today by His Excellency Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State. Governor Seyi Makinde had also said that it's high time we officially establish state police, and we've seen it also play out in Ekiti. Governor Abiodun Yebanji is constantly also calling that, let the people come in and talk. I think the Commissioner for Information Ekiti State, I'll reach out to him. Probably we'll be able to join us on the show tomorrow. Let's see. That's in the situation tomorrow. Let's see how the states differ. I've seen videos. One of my closest friends, Fortune Omoshola, works in one of the media houses in Ekiti, and yesterday on a video call, he was on the entourage of the governor to visit one of the communities. And one of the things he said to me was that you could see the shock in the minds of these people, because these are the things they've heard from a distance. Maybe Boko Haram, they've never imagined it could be this close to them. So I was on a video call with him, and I could see the reaction.
Most of those Ekiti communities are people. You go into those communities, it's all silent.
It's all quiet.
They just live their lives.
They probably not even had gunshots in their entire life.
I'm telling you.
Except they are hunting.
Maybe their hunters are in the bush, and maybe there's something.
And then they saw it live. It's not the best place to be, but let's see all of that work out. When we come back from the break, I will look at the scorecard of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the month of January. It seems they want to make it a periodic thing, maybe every month. Let's see how some of the things that have been recorded as victories for the APC and the presidency, how it will on the long run reflect on the life of the people. Because if you look at how the country is right now, it's one thing to be scared of security, it's another thing to be worried of hunger. So some people are concerned about security, some people are concerned about hunger, some people are dealing with both. There's poor security and you cannot even put
food on the table, in the land.
And there's still, so I mean, these are like the two things that can cripple a country, that can literally put a country on the pedestal of a failing state. Yes. Whether I would like it or not,
if
it is the reality.
No, you are regarded as a failed state. Yes. If you can't secure your people and you can't feed your people,
you can't feed your people.
It's a failed state.
So when people make posts and when people talk about the country is tilting towards, it's not something that is not. You're not committing.
People can be entitled to their own sets of opinions, but facts. You are not entitled to your own facts. The fact is the fact, and the figures are there for us to see.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. Give you something to calm the situation. It's really tense. You can't deny that fact, especially when you do the kind of job that we do. I remember a couple of months ago, my cousin was asking me that, how do we sleep at night? That because you sleep with bad news, you wake up having to read and tell people bad news in a good way. And I'm like, well, the brain is just configured to always release whatever is done for the day and be open to absorb new ones. I play you something really soft. This is from Cobams. Do the right thing. It's as simple as that. People have trusted you with their mandates. People have voted you into office. People have trusted that you will secure them, you provide food for them, you give them a credible and a workable economy. That is what you're supposed to do as a politician. This is from Cobams. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're streaming this program live on our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. On X, formerly Twitter, is Mainland FM. On Instagram and YouTube, it is Mainland 98.3 FM. Search us out, follow us, turn on your notification so that you get to see us. We're streaming this live, so you can go on our pages and see what side Fuhad looks like. And you can also catch a glimpse of what I look like. Well, we'll open the phone lines when we come back after taking the scorecard. It will be 091-3600-0410. For calls, I take it again, 091-3600-0410. And for the message, it's going to be 091-3600-0430. This is Midweek Politics. Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. We'll always come here to give you issues. If you've been listening today, this is how we always do it every Wednesday. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Mᴏɪᴟᴜ, do the right thing. I'll be right back.
There is something missing in the world today. It's the one thing that can make the world okay. And it doesn't cost nothing, no, you don't even have to pay. It's about doing the right thing every day. 'Cause you are the light, you are the sign, you are the only hope, keeping hope alive. Do the right thing, let the world see, let the light shine everywhere. And when it seems like no one's watching, do the right thing anyway. Just do the right thing all the time, and you'll be sure to have the whole world say, hey. If the right thing is the order of the day, then the world will be a better place to stay. The corrupted mind is your worst enemy. So I suggest you do the right thing starting today. 'Cause you are the light, you are the sign, you are the only hope, keeping hope alive. Do the right thing, let the world see, let the light shine everywhere. When it seems like no one's watching, do the right thing anyway. Just do the right thing all the time, and you'll be sure to have the whole world saying yes. Do the right thing, do the right thing. Be a pepper seller or a movie star, doesn't really matter who you are. Do the right thing, do the right thing. You can be a politician or a policeman, you gotta take the stand and do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, do the right thing, let the world see, let the light shine everywhere. And when it seems like no one's watching, do the right thing all around. Do the right thing all the time, you'll be sure to have the whole world saying yes. Do the right thing, right thing, right thing. Just do the right thing. Thing.
Yeah, that was Do the Right Thing by Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ I just needed to take that very quick musical break. The whole thing is getting really tensed up and charged up. I'm receiving messages already, and I can read in between the tone of those messages that, just like Saheed for said before we went on that break, if you cannot provide security and food security for the people you're governing or the people you are presiding over, and then you've actually failed in the two of your basic responsibility as a government. Well, your life on Midweek Politics, we get to do this every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. live on mainland 98.3 FM. Saheed, Fuhad, and Opeyemi Akinyode, we get to come here and to take you beyond the surface of the conversations that you get to read on your dailies, you get to hear or you watch from your news outlets, your TV. I will take you way off the surface. I will dig deeper than you probably would get anywhere. So you don't forget to always join us every Wednesdays rather, from 1 to 3 p.m. If you follow situation there, you understand why Monday to Friday is constantly coming in my mouth. Well, we've talked about a lot of things. We've looked at the security challenges that we are facing in this country. We've looked at the Ekiti unfortunate killing of two monarchs, the abduction of one, and the lucky escape. I'm trying to imagine what the monarch that escaped will feel like each time he reached through the dailies. But all things being equal, we're hoping. I will continue to hope, and that's why when each time the president talks about renewed hope and let's be hopeful, it's okay to sell the message of hope to the people, but there's a stretch to which hope would go. Hope cannot replace good governance. Hope cannot replace dividends of democracy. Hope cannot replace security. Hope cannot replace food security. Hope cannot replace job security. The place of hope, but democracy is not. Hope is a relative thing. I can choose to be hopeful for whatever I believe in, but I didn't vote for you to come and sell me the message of hope. Where there's the renewed hope, even the budget is okay, fine and good. We want to put things in context. Let us know that there's a guiding pattern, this and that. But the reality is this: there's hunger in the land. There's insecurity in the land. There's you look at how. Aside from we're having this conversation that as long as people cannot feed, there's nothing that can drive people into crime as quick as hunger.
Well, that's of course now.
There's nothing that can drive people into self-defense as quick as insecurity. Now there are reports that normalcy has returned to the plateau, especially after the governor of the state, His Excellency Governor 괘ᴜᴛᴜ inaugurated Wİ-ᴜᴜᴜ. That's their own security outfit also. Empowered them, give them mobilization, give them buses, give them communication tools and all of that. Well, we should be having Honorable Musa Ashoms, the Honorable Commissioner for Information of the state, also join us in
how
the
they want to
course of the
sustain
week.
that.
Let's see how sustainable the relative peace that they have now would be. Well, we'll open the phone lines. Well, it wasn't closed, but we'll pick us very soon. But let's quickly look at the scorecard of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that was released by, well, we've talked about the Minister of Information and National Orientation. That's not particularly living up to the expectations. I mean, when the former minister Lai Mohammed was here, even though we may have a different opinion about him, but he was always talking. He was always in the media. He was always trying to let out his opinion. He was always trying to say, okay, this is it, even though sometimes you may not necessarily agree with some of the things he says, but he was visible. And as the face of a government, as the spokesperson of a government, as the mouthpiece of a government, people want to have information. I'm not necessarily going on Twitter to listen to a personal opinion expressed via a tweet and it comes from one position. Well, Saheed Fuhad, I'm sure you have the scorecard with you.
Yes, I have it here.
And maybe we should just take it one after the other. I resumed on day one to sign the 2024 budget proposal into law. Isn't that expected? What do you think?
Well, when I looked at the first item, again, this has been released by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Media Center, and they call it the President Tinubu's January 2024 scorecard. So the first one resumed on day one to sign the 2024 budget proposal into law, and I'm like, again, if you want to make up the numbers, just again, it's supposed to be a 1 month scorecard. I would have thought that you don't have to have a lot of things listed. You can have 3 or 4 things. So far, those things are important and are germane, to good governance and things that can better the lives of the people. But I think the presidential media center, we're just trying to make the numbers, have a lot of things listed as a scorecard of the president. And I'm like, why do they have to start with the fact that, look, he signed the budget into it? Look, the House the National Assembly had passed the budget. So it was just what it is. The president would have to sign it. So, but again, they think that that is an achievement. It's one of the scorecards of the president. But I don't think it's anything really to
They also
celebrate.
said payment of outstanding balance of 12 billion to various Nigerian national teams. Allocated the sum of 50 billion in its first instance to the Pulaku initiative, which is a non-kinetic solution to deal with insurgency and banditry in the north.
Opeyemi, my opinion on this one, that money is just you have just dashed people.
It's a jamboree.
It's a complete jamboree. This non-kinetic thing means that they're going to be doing this. They say they're going to be fighting poverty. Look, nothing is clearly stated as to how to manage this money. So it's just again money for the boys. I know what I'm saying. These monies will eventually end up in the hands of politicians, political jobbers, political cronies, contractors. Yes,
Nigeria runs the second most expensive NSIPs in Africa, after only South Africa. It's you can check the facts.
Yeah,
that was the last update. I'm sure if you review it now, I'm sure we'll have
more
South
Africa.
Yeah. So we have a structure where NSIPs are being used to compensate political.
That's what I'm saying. Jobbers, political patrons, and all of that. That's what you get.
You do the trader money, you do the empower, you do the conditional.
That's why the ministers keep running into trouble, because the monies are there to filter away.
It's a beautiful
process. Very easy. So when I saw 50 billion in the first instant, because more, it means that more will still come. To the Pulaku initiative, which is a non-kinetic solution to deal with insurgency and banditry in the north.
What are the non-kinetic solutions?
Nothing clear about it. So I feel that, look, again,
is it that they'll be engaging the traditional rulers, or they empower local hunters, or they'll give people money to do juju,
or what we're going to see is buying motorcycle for people, buying keke marwa for people? Is that a non-kinetic solution? What is? I just think that, look, 50 billion again, money for the boys gone down the drain.
Absolutely. Well, approved 638 billion intervention fund for public tertiary institutions in the country. We're still waiting for the start of the student loan anyway.
It's on the list too.
Yes.
As achievement.
Approved 9 billion for group life assurance for federal government workers. Approval of 5 billion for the award of 185 research grants to be overseen by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, that's TED Fund. Approved 18.4 billion to clear the backlog of life insurance payments due to families of deceased soldiers since 2001. If you really get to them, 18.4 billion is not so much of a big money, but it's good enough, to help them go through these difficult times. So that one, I totally hope that the money gets to the right places. Approve expansion of the student loan scheme to accommodate skill development programs. Launch the National Philanthropic Office, the MP, an initiative aimed at raising alternative funds for MSMEs in Nigeria. Side for, we've seen this over and over again. When national teams want to go for major tournament, they will set up fundraising, they will generate billions of naira, and at the end of the day, the players will come out and say, we're not even paid our camp allowance and match bonuses and winning bonuses, and they will not hear anything from it. Individuals with good mind, with beautiful spirit,
put monies
into these funds, and we don't get to see them.
When there was COVID, people donated monies. What happened to the monies?
We can't trace them. Okay. Express approval of funding for second Niger Bridge bypass Abuja Kano Lagos Ibadan highway project. I give approval for the FCT minister to procure security gadgets to curtail the insecurity solutions. Sanction a reduction in cost of governance by drastically downsizing the number of people in the entourage of top government functionaries on local and international trips. Don't respond yet.
I want to avoid this.
Wait.
Okay.
We'll come back to that one.
All right.
The last of the achievement approved the resolution of increased primary health care centers from 8,300 to 17,600. Well, I've been to the cringiest of villages in this countryside. Fuad. I've been privileged to work on 1 or 2 projects that have taken me to the deepest and the most remote part of this country. Places where you have to walk for 2-3 hours. I've been to communities in southern Kaduna where they tell you that you cannot walk outside of this line because the field to your left, to your right, they suspect that there are mines on those fields.
So just go straight.
Just keep walking straight. I had a guy that will tell you that don't even take your step
out of the line.
I've been to Borno State where you drive for 4 hours, you think you're on the same spot because to your left, to your right is the same thing, unguarded land,
ungoverned spaces.
So each time I see that we have about 8,300 primary health care centers to cater for almost 230 million Nigerians, I just give up.
We are talking about 774 local governments. God knows how many communities.
Fuad, and it's not even that those 8,300 are functional.
Look, some of them
are ghosts.
Empty buildings.
They are ghosts.
No doctors, no nurses.
Some of those buildings have been converted to tax offices. They've been converted to storage houses.
Or some of them, people are sleeping there.
The government just have it on their database that they have 8,600. Out of them, maybe less than 3,000 that is functional. Now let's go back to the last one. The one before the last. Okay. That the president has downsized the entourage. The president was in one of the southeastern states recently,
and he broke the rules for the first visit.
The rule was not just broken;
it's Imo State.
It was flagrantly broken.
Yes, in the number of persons,
every level of impunity you can imagine. Now, when the president was traveling on a private visit to France, we saw the departure on NTA. Just a sizable number of people.
Persons went with him,
But by the time the Super Eagles won Cameroon,
and then there was a video of him watching.
We saw video of the national security advisor that was not on the entourage when the president was traveling. So can we now say that once the president leaves and they say goodbye, Mr. President, then these people will now on their own private flight and go and pay the president an official visit during a private visit? Side forward.
Opeyemi, a lot of absurdities, a lot of strange things are happening. Somebody made a tweet jokingly that, look, how do you explain a situation where the president says goodbye to his officials, and the assumption is that, look, the president is going with a very slim entourage, reduced entourage, and only for you to see in a few days that the people he said goodbye to were already with him on his private visits to another country.
And then somebody responded to that message. He said, each time somebody explains Nigeria to you,
and you understand
it, the person did not explain
very well to you. You saw the tweet. So that's why I said a lot of absurdities, a lot of bizarre things are happening in the country, and that's why we keep saying that, look, it's not just to come up with an idea, it's not just to come up with a policy. What about implementation? Because implementation becomes easy and effective when there's serious commitment to doing it. So if you look at the scorecard of the president as released by the PBAT Media Center, approvals. Opeyemi, these are working models. These are into maybe tone it down a bit, and then maybe after 1 year, like Professor WG said, we can now begin to really look at the scorecard of the president. But I'm sorry, all the things that have been listed here as achievements of the president in January are just mere approvals. Nothing on implementation, nothing on results, actually. But we have to wait till when they begin to publish the results and achievements, read into the results and achievements of the president. For me, these are just approvals. There's nothing to it.
Okay, so let's go on. Let's open the phone lines. 09136000410. We've been having a conversation since 1 p.m. and this is 2:20. So we have about 35 minutes for you to also join the conversation. And don't forget, James Nwanchiobona, I'm seeing all of the messages on Facebook. I'll come back to those. But also you can follow us, facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM. Click the follow button. We'll respond immediately. And also on YouTube and Instagram, YouTube, mainland 98.3 FM. Follow us, turn on your notification, certainly respond as well. And on X, mainland FM, we get the conversation going. This is Midweek Politics. Every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. we discuss politics beyond the surface, politics beyond the regular that your dailies and your news outlet would always give you. So now you can join the conversation and respond to loads of the issues that Saheed, Fuhad and I have discussed on the show today. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Abbas, and I'm calling here in Nigeria.
Okay,
Mohammed Abbas, good afternoon.
Yes. How are you doing? I really like the program. Very nice program.
Thank you.
Yeah. You keep reminding us what's happening in the country. This administration, I don't know even what to say, because it is all about nothing but it's just about propaganda. He's not even ready. He tell us when he's campaigning that he's more than ready. He's more than ready. He was the readiest one among all the candidates. Yeah, he has been planning for this office for a long time. You know the problem. You say you understand the problem. You know everything. According to him and the so-called vice president. That man is a failure, because I know Bornation is also part of my state. I was there before I moved to another state, but I know him. He's also a failure. So these guys, they have nothing to offer. Unfortunately, we don't have a what they call it, higher level of morality that somebody can resign in Nigeria. You don't even deserve this office. Okay, now for your bad, I don't know what they call bad policies. Look at the hardship that we are going through in this country today. He's contributed to the insecurity also. Because some people are desperate. Some people are, they don't even eat this morning, from morning to this afternoon, some people they don't even eat. Isn't it? So he's contributed to this, to the insecurity. So they are just failure. They can't even resign. And nobody saying anything. People like you, I don't know, nobody will come out and protest as well. So I don't know, I'm just confused. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abbas. 0913-600-0410. I'm inviting you to join the conversation. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Bashir.
Mr. Bashir, where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Magodo.
Okay, Bashir from Abuja.
Magodo. I'm back. I'm back to Lagos. I used to call you from Kano, but I'm back to Lagos.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to say. This country now, things are very hard. Things like every day when you wake up, it's a different story. Clean around the country. Before the election, the man says he's for the job, they voted him, but there is nothing to offer. Seriously. But we can't imagine that. But we are praying God give us peace for our country, and God bless the country. But every day I wake up and to pack my work and leave this country. But if I think I don't have any country more than this country. So God bless our country.
Thank you. I mean, God bless you too, Mr. Bashir. 0913-600-0410. I will get to do this every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. I would appreciate if you can call us back. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm okay. My name is Mr. Fuhad. How are you, sir?
Fine, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
This is your friend. I have to compare the weight our palliative. Can you remember, Mr. Fuhad?
I remember. Have they paid you?
How are you, sir?
Have they paid you?
They only pay for 2 months. They only pay for 2 months. September, October.
Okay,
so this is January now.
So November, December, January, nothing yet.
At least you collected September, October.
Yes.
So yeah, let's go on.
There's nothing. Okay, are you sure you have a functional president? Because I don't know, things now are getting worse every day. Insecurity is a lot, and the NSC is always around with the president. What kind of government is this? His president now around, NSC is now around, there are killings everywhere, nobody to coordinate the defense. Look at the achievement they roll out. It's not that people signing a budget is an achievement. Approval is an achievement in the 21st century Nigeria. No concrete thing. Okay, this is what we have done between January 1 and now. The refinery has just producing, we are producing 60 liters now. By February, the is the 1,000 liters. Nothing like that. Only approve. I want to raise.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. The messages on Facebook is really piling up, and maybe you should just quickly take that. And the calls are also loading in. Aliu Abdul Rahim on Facebook says, okay, thank you for the greetings. I never for once believed in the APC government. We are facing many problems in this country, and the first man in the country went on a private visit outside of the country. May God help us. That's Rahim from Agege. Wasiu Lawa says, does Rome build in a day? I don't know what you guys want, but I can understand that people are interested in fighting rather than peace. Okay. James Wanchiobona, this is a lengthy one. Thank you for the greetings. I don't think Atiku is in the best position to tell Emiloko anything. When Buhari was in power, he made London Nigeria's annex. Now Tinubu have made France another branch of Nigeria. Atiku will have made Dubai another Nigeria extension. Where is he even talking from? Peter Obi has been busy visiting trouble spots in the country and is telling us stories. By the time we draw close to 2027, you will see Atiku identifying with every person in the trouble area to get vote. The same president's handlers will have slammed Mr. President if they were working for Atiku, if he was the one in power. So I don't take them seriously. James Ogbona from Oshodi. Ola Oshebi Kon Ola. I see you as well. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Your name, where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Malam Salah. I'm from Lambado.
Okay, Malam Salah. Good afternoon.
My guy, Fuhad. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Oga Fuhad. Insecurity, we are in for it. Can you hear me, please?
I am with you.
We are in for it. We are in for it. We are in for it. You know my reason? My reason is very simple. We are deeply divided on sentiment, either tribal sentiment, religious sentiment, or political sentiment. I sympathize with the member that stood up there in the floor with emotion.
That was weeping.
But you know why he got it wrong? You had the challenge. Sir, in 2012, I remember, Ado is one of the first-class traditional ruler in Nigeria. His level is just like Oni Ofe. That is Ado for you. We have only 4 of them in the northern part of Nigeria. The Sultan of Sokoto, the Shehu of Borno, Ado and
Emir of Kano.
That is the Zaria. The Shehu of Zaria. You understand? This man was attacked. 4 of his guard was killed instantly. What we are hearing then from the government then, that Boko Haram are faceless people. You get me right? On Friday, about 500 worshippers were killed in the same month of the Ado. I don't want to go, I don't want to divert from
the real issue,
the real issue. Now, in this case where we are now, the appointment of head of our securities also is being politicized. This has done a lot of damage to us, sir. You can imagine, now you take someone from the bottom, or from the middle, and force over 100 generals that has never planned to retire, or some AIGs that are expecting maybe some years to retire. You force them out of service just because you want one particular person to be in charge. Or that particular act is adding to our own problem as well. Another point is that if you look at the papers today, there are other 2 policemen who are dismissed somewhere in Ogun State.
For robbery.
For robbery. You know, the only punishment now is given to them that they were dismissed. They now push them into the society. And they came and mixed with us.
And become criminals.
Somebody who stay about 20 years, 20 years, 20-something years, 15 years in service, carrying arms, know the tactics and everything about police or army, then you dismiss him and you move him into the society and you want him to be a good person. Never. Finally, let me give you one example. You remember Gulak now?
Ahmed Gulak, yes.
Yes. He was around airport of Abuja. The guy that killed him is the last corporal in Nigerian army who was dismissed. Yes, who was dismissed from Nigerian army. You understand?
I'm with you.
In Plateau, there was one guy that terrorizing people in Plateau. Later he was arrested, only for them to find out that he is a dismissed police personnel, even with the police ID card on him. You get me?
Well, with you, Malam Salam.
So this thing, when you have this kind of thing in the society, you expect this.
All right.
And another thing. Okay. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
Valid points, really. He was able to really,
I mean, we've seen all of this. Dismissed. We don't know if they were persecuted. We don't know where did they go to from there. If you took my means of survival from me because I committed a crime, obviously we're not justifying.
Just allow me to go like that.
But just allow me to go. I'll basically just say, you know what, let me just formalize what I'm being punished for,
and return to bigger crimes.
And there's a lot of problems. So when we say we've seen they see terrorists with military uniforms, with this, with that, some of these things are not far-fetched. Some people just woke up on. I saw the video of one of the soldiers recently that said his salary is 50,000 and he wants to go and visit his family and he's going to spend 70,000 to go and come back to base, and his salary is 50,000. How do you even put all of those in? And those same people are expected to defend the territory.
Opeyemi, a lot of our VIPs have police deployment to them. So you have a policeman that earns maybe average 50,000-60,000 naira. He lives in maybe one bedroom apartment in one obscure part of the state, and he's attached to you. He sees the luxurious lifestyle you live. He sees the wastages around you, the fact that you jockey the world, your children are going from one club to the other, spending money, driving Porsche cars, and he looks at himself and says, look, if I work for the next 100 years, I will not even be able to buy the tires
of your car
or of the car of the VIP I'm guarding. If he has an opportunity to commit crime, what would he do?
Straight up, if you're coming into Lagos, the number of policemen on the Long Bridge, from the Long Bridge down to Beggar, they are waiting to be escorted to trucks bringing goods into Lagos,
just to add to whatever.
So you see them in uniform, they carry bag, fully kitted, and they will just sit on the edge of that bridge, observe it from Redeem Camp down to Beggar. You see them in their numbers. So once they see a big truck coming, they wave down the truck, so they will sit in front of the truck and serve as escort to take the truck to whatever part of Lagos the truck is going to. Those are policemen. If we say that we are under policed and these individuals are doing that, I was at the airport recently and I saw an ex-international came in from one of the country and he had about 5 police escorts with him in just 2 vehicles. An ex-international, 5 policemen were with him as VIPs, as escort, as guards. 2 were in the cars. One was driving the Hilux at the back, and 2 were in the Hilux, fully armed.
Okay, I mean, if he needed more,
ex-international.
If he wants money, he will get. You just have the money. If he wants 10, he will get.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we got a bit late. Apologies. Keep it coming. 09136000410. Messages are also coming in. And this one says, my name is Abdul Kadri from Okekoto. You people have said a lot on the show today, but the truth of the matter is this: the people that we are talking to, I don't even listen to radio.
They do.
If you know what we get, then you know that they listen. Thank you very much, Abdul Kadri, all the way from Okekoto. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
James Fanabeda, please.
Okay, Mr. James Fanabeda, you're welcome.
I want to talk about the insecurity, please.
Go on.
This insecurity, our leaders, none of them will say they are not aware. I feel the governors of all northern area and other part of Nigeria, governors, senators, many of them, they are very, very much aware of this insecurity. They are using the point of business, collecting money, using money, and too much from innocent one. And mostly this our advice would never tell all that. He never know anything about because he was a governor before. And what has he done? come to the president today to find security, and you see discussing the sit on the seat, nothing is done. People are dying anyhow. Look at everyday burial in Benue, in short northern area. It is wrong. All of them, they are very much aware. They are not ready to improve the standard of living of this country for their bosses, for their own service interest. That is why they said they're alternative. They are not using it for anyone. There's nothing going to change. It's only God to just one way or the other to remove them. It is for us now to open our eyes. Our eye open, no matter how they gather the APC to the government now, let Nigeria be open mouth, be open eye, and they turn away from APC. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. We're still taking your calls, still picking your messages as well. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Your name or where you calling from?
Yeah, this is ᴜᴜᴜ.
Okay, Mr. Lakolo, you're welcome.
Yeah, where do I start from, really? I think insecurity is a big challenge, no doubt. We are looking at it from the point of view of federal to state to local governments. Everybody is really crying out now that we get local police and state police. But the question I was also going to ask was that what were we looking at in 2022 or 2021 when all the states refused to approve that through their House of Assembly? Was it that we just didn't want things to work, or we just felt it was needless? Because for me, I feel with what we've seen, OPC, Amotekun, NSDC, CDC, and all of that, and the police all do in Ekiti State, shows that might not be too bad for it to work. But even if we expect that to work, how is federal government going to decentralize power from the top down? How is federal government going to release a lot of things from the exclusive list to the concurrent list? How are we going to allow states to be able to use their God-given resources to be able to fund these things? Because for me, if you allow them start all these things and all of that, it's costly. Will what they get from federal be enough for them to run it? If it's not enough, we're going to create a bigger problem, because they're going to give guns to these people. If you're able to solve this problem, how do you get these guns back? If you chase them out, are we not going to get into the same problem somebody just talked about now? We have to do that. I raised out, go back to that. And with what we are facing today, generally, you find out even the terrorists pay more than what the army guys are paying. And that's why we respect them so much. I don't think any army officer should earn the least earn anything less than $100. That's about 130 to 150,000, which I doubt it is today, because the terrorists even pay more than that. So it's a whole lot of challenging situation we really need to look at, and that's why I supported the summit that they need to sit down and look at and all of that. Then how do we really look at the legal angle of all of these things? Because if you look at our laws and all of that, you find out that kidnapping is under the state, terrorism and all of that are under the federal. We're taking a lot of federal forces to help fight to deal with state problems, and these people are stretched. If you look at the per capita between the people and the number of policemen and all of that, it's maybe at 1 to 20,000, because I doubt if all our forces are 1 to 2 million, and we have 200 million people to police. So all these things is a big conundrum, and we really need to break it down to the bits and pieces of that to be able to really look at it and find lasting solutions to be able to fight this problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lakole. I mean, some of the challenges we face, side forward, it has nothing to do with your party affiliation.
No, party.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people, even the strongest of the members of the ruling APC, and they'll tell you that, hey, it's not like things are better. And so when we come up with conversations like this, none of us are partisan on the conversation. I mean, I don't have a political party affiliation, neither do I have to express an opinion about it on or off radio. But one thing a lot of people need to know is that there's no segregation in the level of insecurity. If a bandit come, they will not ask you to show us their party membership.
The two monarchs killing Ekiti State.
No, nobody is talking about their political parties or whether they voted for Atiku or they voted for Showore. 5-year-old kids. What does he know? What does she know about politics? It's not like there's one filling station where you're a member of the APC, you buy fuel cheaper, or there's a market where you buy a bag of rice for 30,000 because you're a member of the PDP. No.
On the conversation, Opeyemi, sorry to cut in, on funding state policing and all of that. Yes, I agree that it's something we have to talk about. But again, these are steps, you have to get into the conversation to now begin to address those challenges.
The modalities of them. You have to admit that yes, we want to have it.
And then you now talk about funding, you talk about operations, you talk about checks and balances.
Sorry, let me hold your thoughts. Let me pick this call. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, is it allowed to call back or not allowed? Let me know what's time for that.
Okay, let me just do 30 seconds. Yes.
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Thank you. Okay, you see, it's not true. Our security is being divided on party lines, though. Because we have politicians that will now promise some uniform men that if I become so-so, I will make you so-so something. So that particular, automatically, that particular personnel become a party sympathizer. So if the party, if his candidate never didn't win, then he became an enemy to other party that makes person that want to make him somebody.
And that's just the true side for it.
It's almost difficult for me to take it, but it's not impossible.
That's reality. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, TFM.
Good to have you join us.
Hello, TFM.
Okay. Call back. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your name or where are you calling from?
Okay, this is John calling from Ojota.
Mr. John from Ojota, you're welcome.
Yes, I love the program. Hello, sir. No, everything, in a wise way, like this security and the whole matter is recognized in one thing. Number one, the scarcity of food and the inflation of food in every based on this our mineral resources, which is fuel. Before the cassava grinder will collect like 100 naira. Now they are collecting 600. When somebody want to grind like a 3 basis, they spend like almost 3,000 to grind only. Okay, when they now do it now, to take it to the market, the price because of this fuel don't come. Why are we not making our own refinery work? And all our crude should make sure that all these things we can practice it in our own place. Why depending on the private source? How much is the bag of cement now? Hello, sir. The bag of cement that we don't even have government. We only have people in the system. We have a country called Nigeria, but it's just a mere space that the right people are not in the system. Look at it. Their capacity for Dangote refinery is going to work. What happened to our own collective refinery? Bag of cement that only Dangote is this cement. Now, how much is the bag? How will it not affect even though it's producing as a private man? So, and then the issue of our number one, Olori Lō-Sílé, how will something not happen in the where it belongs to? So the head of the family is not around. How will he have to attend to the issue around his house? So the issue, he go there because they have already have insight. Hello, sir.
How with you?
He have insight concerning 3 countries pulling out finally. It's the boss of ECOWAS. That is the pride inside it. As he have the insight are coming to pull out finally, he go to France to go and have a meeting. To do it. That is the meeting of ECOWAS. It's a boss.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well,
he said it's a private visit. He has brought in a
different assumption. I think that's the key word. He's brought in a different assumption. Let me read more messages. Okay. This is Femi from Bagada, and he says, good conversation you guys are having. I hope that the security challenges as is trickling into Lagos is preparing for it. The governor of Lagos has moved from Granada came back and he has traveled again to China. Hope is going to understand that security in Lagos is the security of Nigeria. Okay.
First daily harassments of motorists and vehicles and commuters in Lagos on a daily basis.
It's a security challenge on its own.
Look, it's starting small. It's going to get big if nothing is done. Because almost on a daily basis now, you have people harassing people in their vehicles, trying to break down their side mirrors. I'm not talking of Agbo, so I wouldn't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm talking of guys who are practically saying you must give them money. They threaten you.
You talk about the ones in the vehicle.
Yes,
walking on the street, the way they will approach you. They'll make it look like if you don't give us, we'll smash you, we'll collect it from you by force. Broad daylight.
It's happening. There's no day I drive past a Jota, for example, and that does not happen. They are threatening to break down your mirror and all of that. They harass people. And when you see people fidget, sometimes people are afraid of them. You see people almost losing control of their car because they are afraid of these guys. Not at night. I'm talking about broad daylight. Jota everywhere. It's what we see. So I think we need our governor to, stay back again and focus on ruling Lagos State, governing Lagos State. I think he's not concentrating. We've always said it. He needs to understand that governance is about really doing the job, not just mere rhetorics.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good to have you join us.
This is Mr. Daniel calling from Ikeja.
Mr.
Daniel, coming from Ikeja.
Okay, you're welcome.
I want to make suggestions regarding the insecurity in the country.
Where you are is a bit noisy. I can barely hear you. You can change your location a little.
Okay, I think it is network. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better?
A little better, but it's still noisy though. But just go on.
Okay. My submission is, I think people should be held accountable for the insecurities in the country. When I say people, I mean like these people. I want to give an instance. When I was in Port Harcourt, the phone was snatched from someone. The person tried to want you, and the chief asked her, where did they snatch the phone from you? She mentioned the exact place, the exact location. The chief carried phone and called and make a call. Call someone and say, return that phone to the owner now. Just bring that phone to me now. What am I trying to say? All the crimes committed in the country, there are people who know a particular voice that operate in a particular area. So I want to suggest let these people appoint people that monitor territories. Then they now appoint one person like the chief superintendent of police. Then the chief superintendent of police will now have his own team. So then they will now have rapid response squad to be on ground. In case they want to arrest anyone, by the time you arrest one or two people from a particular region, you see that all the bad boys, all the kidnappers in that area will flee. So people should start as the very responsible, like DPO of this place of Ikeja.
Thank you.
Something that happens in Ikeja and we cannot account for it. So you should be able to say, okay, you should appoint people to every areas. Let them just check and report. You see how with that the crime will be reduced.
Thank you.
And all these people, all these kidnappers will be pushed out. That's my submission.
Thank you very much. Aside Fuhad,
yes.
I mean, we can just pick these calls and just go on like that. But one thing is very sure. It's going to be very difficult for us to separate poverty, unemployment, the level of food scarcity, food insecurity, inflation in Nigeria. How difficult would that be to separate it from the continuous rise in the level of security challenges that we have?
One thing leads to the other.
Mr. Lakunle said something the other time. He said, if you get recruited as a bandit, maybe on the first kidnap that you did,
and
they pay you like maybe they just give you 300,000 or 500,000. Because I remember there was a documentary I watched where one of the bandits that kidnapped the Jangiri girls there was talking, and he said that they got 60 million from the government. And the journalist asked him that, did you see 60 million? And he said yes, that they saw 60 million cash. And the journalist asked him, now what did you use the money for? He said they bought more weapons. So I mean, you look at how these people are living. Even though you see them, once they capture them, they look really dirty, they look unkempt and all of that. But it's interesting to know that they get paid when they get recruited. So somebody that is putting his life on the line as a security agent is getting 50,000, and then a bandit is getting 150. How much more do you think the government need to show commitment to ending the poverty in this country, which should be prioritized? Ending the poverty or fixing insecurity?
We just have to address the two. You know, while we're trying to fix the issue of insecurity, we also have to address the problem of poverty, widespread poverty in Nigeria. I think a lot of leaders in the north, for example, are beginning to say that, look, the reason why there's this much of insecurity in the north, why you have a lot of their youths, you know, abandoning the city to go into the trenches, into the bush to join these criminals, is because there's no hope for them out there. They look at themselves, there's nothing to hold on to, there's no guarantee of a better life. So just look at the other side of the divide. And those guys would offer them hope. You understand what I'm saying? They offer them money, they offer them hope, they offer them women, they offer them drugs. You know, so they just look at it and say, look, instead of me remaining in the society where there's really nothing to hold on to survive, I just go into the trenches, even though at the end of the day there's no justification for criminality.
There's none. There can't be any.
But then, whether we like it or not, you know, you can't have widespread poverty, unemployment, food inflation without, you know, something that is commensurate in times of crime. You know, this will lead to the other. It's always like that. And that's why you see that nations, the most secure nations of the world, are nations who are able to work on the guarantee of the three basic necessities of life: food, clothes, and shelter. If you don't work on those things, it's almost difficult for you to fight crime.
Because if I don't have shelter, I'm living under the bridge.
And somebody offers you shelter,
and even if you don't offer me shelter, and I see somebody just walking aimlessly at some really engaging time of the night, and I have a sharp object, even if it's a remote country that looks like gun, because sometimes when these people approach you, you don't even know maybe they are holding gun or not.
You want to risk it.
You don't want to find out. I mean, like Fuhad said, there's no justification for crime, but if I can't put food on my table, and I do so much more to making sure that, why not, it start from petty pickpocketing. It starts from having a system where you see people, someone that stole and agreed that, he stole 26 billion of pension fund, and then you give him 5 years in prison or a fine of 250,000, and then somebody feels like, so if I can steal this much and I'm not going to get punished. You do know how many former governors are in having EFCC cases? Do you know how many former governors have their files on the table of EFCC, and most of them are still holding political offices? Imagine the immediate past minister of humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation, she's having issues with the EFCC. The recently suspended one is having issues with and this is supposed to be the ministry that will take care of the poverty level of this country. These are the ministries that are supposed to
attend to this
directly with these people.
Tackle poverty headlong, you know.
Face it, not raise policies, not do empowerment.
Quick fix.
Yes, give them 10,000, 20,000. But when the monies that are supposed to go into people, remember we have a cashless policy in this country, official cashless policy. So people that are supposed to support cashless policy are carrying billions to go and give to people in cash.
They'll tell you that, you know, where the poverty is really domiciled. These are
they don't have bank accounts,
you know, so they have to get the money across.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's been an engaging conversation on the show today, and I want to assure you that every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. you don't want to be anywhere else. Even when you're at the comfort of your offices, you can always find time to join us. It's Midweek Politics. Saheed, Fuhad, and I comes every Wednesday to trump the conversation in respect to how things should be done how people should be properly governed, how people should be properly presided over, irrespective of your party affiliation, your religious affiliation, or your political alignment. People should not be treated on the basis of their political loyalty. It's in Nigeria. It's the same country we hold on to. The constitution allows us to have different political affiliation. That's why political parties are registered in their numbers. In 2019, we had about 70-something political parties that went into the election. The last election we had, INEC in their wisdom deregistered some deregistered themselves, and went to the election with 18 political parties. So if party A does not particularly support your alignment, you have the right to choose from the other 17 political parties. However, development should not be centered around political. So because the Southeast does not support party ABC, the development will not get to those places. You are opening issues of anarchy. The moment people feel marginalized, problems will come.
President Buhari once said it. I remember, I think it was in a BBC interview where he said that, look,
5%.
They said the God gave him 5% vote, so they'll get 5% development. Which is very, very unfortunate, really.
These things are, we're laughing about it, but these are serious issues that are affecting our national development. We'll be here on Wednesday. God spend our lives. But of course, we have loads of other political conversations, current affairs conversations, beginning from our news at the top of the hours. From 12 o'clock and to 5:30 as well, we bring all of the news and more. On Sundays, from 6 to 8 p.m., there's political roundtable, Side Forward, and League of Seasoned Analysts always come together to serve you the best way possible. And of course, from Mondays through Fridays, the Situation Room comes in every 4 to 5:30. And don't forget, on Friday as well, 7 p.m., it is the Voices from the Top with Kunle Daniels. Keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. Well, we've done enough for today's Side Forward. What are we taking home?
Well, again, the president has to wake up to his responsibility.
He should come back home first.
I think he needs to.
You cannot wake up in another
There's an emergency.
Come back home.
We've seen presidents cut short their official visits, to attend to security.
And this one is not even official.
So this one is even a private visit.
Visit.
So I don't think it will be more important than the job of presiding over the country. So he needs to cut that trip short and come back to attend to real issues.
Yes, and the people handling the information space within the Nigerian political, arena, that begins from